Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. For most people out there and their media, what's going on between, let's say, Donald Trump and Zelensky seems very weird and unfair. For people like you and I, it's normal. It's been expected and predicted. This is a normal course of events, which is Zelensky got his list. He's got to be the president of the Ukrainian nation with all that. Then he got little boxes. He had to check. Puck, 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 puck. Now he's at the last box, which is I got to go. I got to give you everything, say goodbye and leave. Or leave on my own or made to leave. In this case, he's going to be made to leave. We'll see if he's going to be pressured into leaving, all right? Or he's just going to say, I take my money and my and go. And we got to that point. Trump pushes Zelensky to make territorial concessions, may want him to step down, according to NBC News. I don't trust NBC News, but this corresponds with what I said many times before, and I think we are in agreement here. So let's read this article, which is what the hell is the cocaine here? Any cocaine there? Okay. We'll see if this coincides with what I think is going to happen. Zelensky is going to go one way or another, and Ukraine will make concessions. But hey, let's read this one and then discuss how we got here and what's next. All right, it's going to be very brief. Why? I said it many times before. I'm just going to make a little summary. Very easy. Here, New Voice of Ukraine. This is from March 9th, 2025. Trump pushes Zelensky with double Y, because you like a yee when you start a car or a airplane in the old days, to make territorial concessions, may want him to step down, NBC News. Now, not may want him, he will step down. I mean, but hey, they go little by little. US President Donald Trump has privately told his aides that a mineral resources deal between Washington and Kiev would not be enough. We knew that, and I'm going to explain how that runs in negotiations. So it might not be enough to restore Americans' aid to Ukraine, NBC News reported on March 9, citing an unnamed administration representative and another U.S. official. I never like this kind of things, or people familiar with the issue. Again, I can make up a lot of people familiar with the issues that I know. According to the officials, Trump wants an agreement giving to the United States access to Ukraine's mineral resources, including rare earth metals. However, he also expects to see changes in Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's stance on peace talks, including a willingness to make concessions, potentially surrendering some territory to Russia. Trump is also reportedly pushing for Zelensky to make steps towards holding elections in Ukraine and possibly even to step aside as his country's leader, the official told reporters. So what do you think, my friends? So this is in negotiations. I want to make a deal with you. And let's say I'm in a better position to make a deal. I have more cards than you have. Better cards. And I say, okay, I want this. And we set a price. And you say, no, we don't like that. Okay, bye. And then after a while, you, Zelensky, come back and say, yeah, I agree now. But after I tight the knot on you, when I do this and you say, okay, I agree with the deal. Now this is what happens. You say, no, that deal was for then. Now it's a different day. So instead of paying this much, now you're going to pay this much. So that's exactly what Trump does. Initially, it was no conversation about Zelensky leaving from Trump, remember? A dictator, elections, nothing. Now is more. We want that and more, and now you have to make concessions. And it's a different deal. You made me spend energy and wait for you. Now that's gonna make you pay. That's how it's in business. You don't come back to the same deal. It's gonna be a worse deal. And if you go back again and you come back again, it's gonna be even worse than it was the one that was offered before. That's the way it works. So now, how the things are. I think Zelensky, like many other politicians, run their course. Their face becomes, rotten. I mean, not rotten, obvious to the people that is rotten, like Trudeau and many others. Look in political arena. Rarely you have a leader that's going to be over there elected or selected by the people. Unless he's a tyrant or, pretend and so on. Usually they come and leave, and the guys in charge of them are exchanging. They bring the same shit that you don't know that he's with a different face, a beautiful face. That's what they do. So in this case, look at Trudeau. Trudeau now has to go. I mean, the gig is up. Is that how it is? The jig? The jig is up. Not the gig. The jig, I think. The jig is up. The same here. It's done. People figured him out, even people in his own garbage, who were baboons, they figured out he is what he is. Therefore, they're going to bring new blood, fresh blood. Let's say Miss Freeland, Christia Freeland, for example. And people will say, oh, woman, oh, from Ukraine, oh, with nuts, oh, okay. Then they will do that. That's what they do. That's a revolving door. So that's what they do over here with Zelensky. Zelensky was selected, and after Zelensky was selected, he got promoted, doors were opened, he got financed, people were pushed to the side by the interest, and he got elected. He was selected. How was he selected? Sit down, boy, here. This is it. The same in United States of America. This is it. And he's going to say, yes, sir. When I've been told this a long time ago by an American friend, when I just came off the boat, when I came to the States, land ho, let's go. That's how I came to the United States of America. So when I came to that, then it was a long time ago. He said, very smart person. And he said, well, these presidential candidates in United States of America are offered a paper and they have to say yes, yes, yes. And then you see them going to Jerusalem at the Wailing Wall. All of them. Who goes over there gets elected. Who doesn't go over there is not going to get elected. I said, at that time I was like, yeah, that's exactly how I think it is nowadays. So, the same with this guy. The guy was selected, protected, and pushed forward. He's got to be elected together with Zmihal, another Zelensky Stein. Then he appointed all his friends over there, and he's got in charge of the Ukrainian nation, like they did in Soviet Union after 1918. They were running high over there. They were, ooh, yeah, well, that's what we are. Okay? But it's okay. Little by little, they got out. That's why they like Putin so much, because he kicked them out. So he is at the end of the course. Done. Ukraine will give Russia the territories. We knew this. Zelensky will step down. He will not be re-elected ever again. Maybe he's going to try, but I think he's going to be told fresh blood. He's going to be out. Now, how he's going to be out? Either with a missile while his helicopter leaves somewhere, or he's going to have a heart attack or a mini stroke. Or maybe he's going to take his money, luggage with the money, and go to, I don't know, Switzerland, or as I say always, London. That's what he's going to London, probably, or New York. And that's it with the guy. That's it. Or the guys around him, the bodyguards or the nationalists, will, who knows, something like this. So he's going to go. He's going to checkmark the last one, give the Americans the resources. This is like in a hurry, because they did not expect that. They expected that Ukrainian blood will be used to destroy the Russians, and Putin will be like Gaddafi, that kind of spectacle. And that's it. We win. We being those guys over there. Not the politicians. They win, but a little bit smaller than the guys in charge of all of us here. Who are in charge of us? The interest. As I always say, the three pillars. The banking system, the military-industrial complex, and the energy industry. That's it. These are the main ones. Pharma, big pharma comes, fifth, seventh place. After these guys set, like you make a building, you make sure you go in with your surveyors, and then you clear the area, and then big pharma comes. So right now they pick the thing, they go look over there, they go with surveyors, clear the area. Now big pharma shows up after some time, okay? So that's the way it is. So they will have concessions, they could not destroy Russia, and they're struggling to get as much as they can, like in the Second World War. That's a parallel with a V-Day, landing in the 6th of June, 1944 was it? So when they landed over there, it was not, oh, let's open a second front. The Soviets already liberated the entire territory of Soviet Union at that time. They were rolling over towards Europe. And this guy said, oh, Stalin asked the Americans and open a second front in Europe, not the one in the south, in Africa, or in Italy. No, a second front. And that's why when these guys went over there in Normandy, landing, they encountered the baboons. 10%, not even 10% of the Wehrmacht was fighting against them. The 90% was fighting the Russians. That's a fact. You don't like it? I don't give a shit. But maybe you ought to know the exact numbers here, okay? So that's how it was, the landing. Fantastic. But without the landing, the Soviets would have gone to Lisbon, Portugal. I guarantee you that. They would have done clear. Maybe it will stop at Franco. Right? They will stop over there in Spain, but it would take everything. So that's why these guys, to meet them in the middle. The same here. And you want Poland, Wehrmacht, the Germans and the Soviets, a Poland partition, the same. Or you want the Poles and the Germans of Czechoslovakia partition, look into that one too if you want. Or if you want, as I said right now, these guys want to go in, the Americans, to get something in Western Ukraine, so they meet the Russians in the middle. It's the same. The big dogs are dealing the cards here. The rest are just tokens, just you take Romania, I take this. Remember, after the Second World War, what was the whole point? Well, we don't give, right, the Europe to Adolf and the whole world, right? That was the whole point. But instead they gave it to the Soviets, to the communists, which were worse than those guys. What was that? And who decided that? The big dogs. So again, Zelensky will go. Zelensky will sign anything that he's allowed to sign. Probably is going to be over there if he's going to be given this offer. Zelensky, you could still participate. You're gone. You're yesterday's news. But you can live with being, revered by the Ukrainian people in the history books that we're going to write for you guys in Ukraine. And then you're going to be revered as a big defender of Ukraine and blah, 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 and that's it. Or you can be like you are, I would say, a traitor. Not to the Ukrainian people, because you have to belong to the group first to be a traitor. He was just an alien inside Ukraine. That's how I see him. My bad. So yes, he was going to go. Trump, if Trump doesn't go before Zelensky, there's a possibility Trump might go. Trump might have a little, helicopter crash, something like that, heart attack. He's old, a little stroke or something like that. He's just going to be passing out. We'll see. And if that happens, we'll see what's going to happen with Vance and his real true colors. There could be a signal to Vance. Vance JD, watch it. And it's going to be, okay, change course. Like he did, if you remember, JFK and Lyndon Johnson. Lyndon Johnson was the snake. Was the, as you would call him here, the parallel state, the swamp. Lyndon Johnson. Not JFK. JFK was not. JFK was, the Kennedy family was the victim. He and Robert Kennedy, they were the victims. And Johnson was, shalom, I do whatever you want, guys. Just get me. If you don't believe me, I would like you to look into history and see the first executive orders Lyndon Johnson signed, and I think in the first 24 hours after Kennedy was still warm, after he was shot in the head. I want you to go and check it out and see what executive orders he reversed course. Very interesting. 24 hours. 24 hours. The guy was just still was warm. If you would touch him, let me touch you. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. So Zelensky is going to go. We all know that. If Trump doesn't go before him, very possible. I give big odds to the possibility that Donald Trump will just pass away. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.